for the human rights situation in a country. So just want to emphasize that ultimately it is the states or the governments that is responsible for the human rights situation in their jurisdiction. That means in the case of North Korea, like it is important to hold the North Korean government responsible for any human rights violations that is happening within the country. That means any kind of violation that is being perpetrated directly by the state or abused by non-state actors. For example, in case of any companies operating in North Korea that is involves overseas investment, but they are like abusing labor rights, then we still would hold the North Korean government responsible for these human rights abuses, even though it is not the government abusing the rights directly, because they have a right to protect the rights of everyone within their territory. Yes. So, so with that, you probably ask, how about the UN? Would the UN be responsible for human rights in North Korea? Well, I think many people know that it is difficult to influence the North Korean government directly, given that it is difficult for NGOs to travel to North Korea, especially for human rights NGOs, because if you are humanitarian NGOs and you are bringing in resources to help the people, for example, who are suffering from food insecurity, there's a bigger chance that North Korean government would let you in. But as a human rights NGO, you have the stated objective of going there to monitor the human rights situation and documenting human rights violations, then probably like the government will not welcome NGOs like Amnesty International. So it is actually very difficult for anyone to talk to North Korea directly about human rights, except for other governments, like through diplomatic channels or in such multilateral platforms like the UN. So as a result, a lot of the work on North Korea human rights is actually done through the UN. And as you probably know, governments, they would sign on to international human rights treaties. For example, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, or the Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Yeah. So actually, the treaty bodies of these international human rights laws, they lie within the UN. So actually, any country signing on to these treaties, they get reviewed regularly by the UN treaty bodies as well.